This is NASDAQ, this is ES, and they should follow each other. NASDAQ go up, ES should go up, and vice versa. But what if they don't? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use SMT divergences to find reversals in the market. I'm going to give you a complete checklist and frameworks so you can find the correct correlation on correlated pairs too. We are in part 8 of the traded pyramid inside the technicals layer. No time to waste, let's go. An SMT is a crack in correlation. Correlated assets need to move together, and when one fails to follow, there is where the SMT comes in. So if we zoom in on a bullish SMT at the lows, one makes a lower low and the other one does not make a lower low. It makes a higher low. If it happens in a key level, high time frame fair value gap, an old higher low, there's where a reversal can start. Same with a bearish SMT, they need to follow each other. So if NASDAQ makes a higher high, ES should make a higher high. When it doesn't do that, then you have a potential SMT on your hands. If you combine that with a structure shift, displacement, fair value gaps, then you can add the SMT as a confluence to your model. So two pairs, one breaks off, that crack is the signal for a potential reversal. Keep in mind that the SMT itself is not an entry model. It is just one confluence that you can put inside your entry model, just like a fair value gap, just like a market structure shift, just like displacement. So don't fall into the trap to blindly trade every SMT. Use it as an extra confluence to confirm your trade idea, to confirm the reversal in your target's direction. And there's more correlated pairs than just NASDAQ, ES, and YM. SMT only works between assets that should move together. And for the indices, NASDAQ, ES. For Forex, you have Euro and GBP. So that means Euro dollar and GBP US dollar. AUD and NCD, gold and silver, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the USD pairs, Euro dollar, GBP US dollar, have an inverse correlation with the dollar. That means when dollar goes up, USD pair should go down. When it cracks, you have a potential reversal on your hands. So they should move together. When they don't, that is your SMT. So at this point, you know what an SMT is. You know the correlated pairs. Which of the two of the correlated pairs do you trade? In a bullish SMT, trade the strongest. So the pair that did not take the low. It made a higher low for a reason while the other broke down. That is relative strength, and smart money is holding price up. So in this case, NASDAQ makes a lower low. ES makes a higher low. ES was so strong that it did not even make a lower low. That means that is the strongest pair. That is what you should trade. In a bearish SMT, trade the weakest because you want your shorts to be as weak as possible, to drop as fast as possible. The pair did not make the higher high. In this case, NASDAQ makes a higher high, ES makes a lower high. ES was so weak, it did not even make a higher high. That is the pair. So in this case, you also trade ES. You still can trade NASDAQ in these examples, but you will see over a long period of time that if you trade the strongest and the weakest, you will see the cleanest and fastest moves. So how to trade this step by step? One is spot the SMT in a higher time frame key level in a kill zone. In previous parts of this mentorship, we already talked about key levels, about liquidity, and about kill zones. And here you should find your SMT. So in this case, we have a London high that's being swept here. So there's a higher high created in a key level, London high and all-time high. And at the same level, there's an SMT. NASDAQ makes a lower high. Next up is dropping time frames. Just like every other confluence, like a fair value gap and an order block, an SMT, if you trade it on the 1 minute, you're gonna see bullish and bearish SMTs everywhere. That's why the rule, the higher the time frame, the more reliable your confluence, also applies to SMTs. So find your SMTs at the 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and then drop to the lower time frame, your entry time frame, the 1 and the 5 minutes, to use that knowledge in your favor to find the best trades. So if you then drop time frames to the execution time frame, you will see in the lower time frame that during the New York Open, during the kill zone, before that we have the SMT, the liquidity sweep, and then we start dropping lower, creating fair value gaps. And it's on the 5 minute, you can do the same on the 1 minute. And because we want to trade the weakest in a bearish SMT, so we want to trade NASDAQ, you see that we have a fair value gap here, where you could take an entry, value gap here, where you can take an entry. And you see that NASDAQ just moves lower, very clean sell structure. When? During the New York Open and 10 a.m. game. That is why you should study episode 1 of this mentorship, because this actually comes back into all the entry models. And then step 3 is take your entry. Your model itself does the entry. You just spotted an SMT, a potential reversal, and then the model does the heavy lifting. You can do the 10 a.m. game, you can do the ping pong model, you can use the FTS model. All these models can be found here in this channel in the entry model playlist, and they will also come back inside this mentorship. And SMT was just the confluence, not the entry model, but was the starting point, like, hey, we might reverse from here. And we did. And a little bonus here, sometimes there's a second SMT in the same range. So we have already SMT at the external range liquidity at the highs, make a higher high and a lower low. The NASDAQ is better. But sometimes inside the range, there is also an SMT created, where one makes a lower high and one makes a higher high. Then inside that range, you also have another SMT making it even higher probability for your actual entry on the lower time frame. But it all starts with the higher time frame SMT, where you can just find the start of your reversal. So the checklist needs to be a key level. The SMT needs to form inside the higher time frame PD array for value gap or block, some liquidity point, high or low. Follow the order flow. That means aligns with your higher time frame bias. If the higher time frame is bearish, try to find shorts. If the higher time frame is bullish, try to find longs. It needs to form during a kill zone, London or New York. And this ties back to the previous episode about kill zones. So the key takeaway needs to be a cracking correlation. One correlated pair fails to follow the other. Which pair in the bullish trade the strongest, in the bearish trade the weakest? If it's not very clear which one is the strongest or the weakest, just trade the cleanest structure. The clearest for value gap, the clearest displacement. And the SMT is a confluence, not an entry. So spot the SMT, drop in time frames, take your model. SMT never enters the trade by itself. It needs to be supported by, for example, displacement, a market structure shift. For value gaps, order blocks, use as a confluence inside your entry model, and use the checklist. It needs to happen in a key level, following the higher time from order flow inside a kill zone. So spot the crack, confirm the model, and take your trades. That is it. And now you build the 8th layer inside the trader pyramid in the technicals part. If you got value from this video, make sure you like, share it with a trading friend, and make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on to not miss out on any of the 35 episodes here in this futures mentorship. A PDF with the slides and all the frameworks from this episode are inside the description and also inside the free Discord. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.